Thank you all for coming. It is a great pleasure to host you all in ESS Square BSDC 2012. It has been an overwhelmingly fantastic tournament. I'd like to congratulate all the organizers and all the teams for putting up a brilliant show. Before we start the debate final, we'd like to again thank, without whom this entire organization would not be possible, our sponsors, our print media partner Daily Star, our radio partner Radio Today, our knowledge partner Gov Institute, beverage sponsors Mojo, logistics sponsors Rahima Froze BD Limited, and most importantly our gold sponsor Probashi Bangla Development Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for these amazing people, amazing sponsors without whom this establishment wouldn't have been possible. Right. It was a great opportunity to host this tournament. We did not only have brilliant teams, we had amazing judges from all around Bangladesh. Esteemed judges who took precious time out of their personal life to judge the young school debaters. In the final, we have a combination of amazing pool of judges. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the judging panel of BSDC final. The first judge, coming from North University, Mr. Saad Iftikhar Tawhid. Amazingly talented and ever beautiful Raisa Farheen from IUB. His beard is awkward, but he's an amazingly talented guy, Mr. Ashik Alam from IBA. He couldn't find a shirt, but he's an amazing judge, Mr. Samin Ishraq Islam. From all the way to Malaysia, we deported him so that we can contribute to IIUM getting a trophy next year. Ladies and gentlemen, former North-South University, currently International Islamic University of Malaysia, Mr. Mubarak Wasi. An amazing debater in his times, an amazing judge, broke in the last ASDC, Mr. Tanzim Tonmoy from North-South University. Age does not dictate quality. Ladies and gentlemen, probably the youngest judge in the panel, Ms. Wasifa Noshin. Last two judges, we call him the Ghoda, the horse, not because he's an amazing judge, because he's a workaholic and immensely talented judge. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Arghya Dev Aryan. Last but not the least, the face of Bangladesh debating. If you are in Bermuda Triangle, you are reading his blog. Ladies and gentlemen, the coach of ESS, an amazing debater from North University, and the tournament advisor, Mr. Saad bin Amzad. Saad, take the center chair. Yes, a clap for Saad. Right. We had amazing participation from the teams, and after grueling debates of 8 rounds and a semi-final, the two teams in the finals are, in the government side, we have Academia School. Speaking in the final, first speaker of the proposition is Mr. Shahriar Nabi. Second speaker, a sort of a cult these days, Mr. Tausif Amin Khan. Ladies and gentlemen, last and definitely not the least, Mr. Shakib Alim. In the opposition, equally talented and amazing group of people. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition team in the finals is Aga Khan School. The first speaker, Mr. Asraf Uddin Ahmed. Second speaker, Mr. Tushar Ahmed Nishu. Last but not the least, Mr. Saad Rakin Ahmed. Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, the motion of the finals is this House would grant amnesty to RAB officials involved in crossfires once it is proven that the victim had gross criminal records. Without any further ado, can I please request the Honourable Chair to start the proceedings? Thank you very much.
If I get in the way. Is it okay? Okay. Ashta.
Thank you, our Chief Adjudicator, Sina Ibn Humayun Bhai, for that awesome introduction to all of us. Okay, without further ado, may I call upon the first speaker from Team ADC to propose the motion that stands in his name.
Are you that good?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Honourable Speaker and Honourable Judges, for giving me the time to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned before today, the motion in this House stands. This House would grant amnesty to RAB officials involved in crossfires once it is proven that the victim had gross criminal records. Without further ado, let us take a look at the definition of the motion. The key words are firstly amnesty, by which we mean, ladies and gentlemen, that if proven that the victim was guilty, if after the person is shot and after the RAB has gone through a crossfire, after the person is dead, if it is proven that the person is guilty, then the RAB official will be given amnesty. That means he will be let to go and he will not be held accountable for the murder of that very person. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, by cross criminal records, we mean that the first degree criminal, the degree of first degree crimes, ladies and gentlemen, of high gravity, crimes which include serial killers and serial rapists, ladies and gentlemen, crimes of high gravity, crimes which are very important, ladies and gentlemen, which have a very hard impact on society itself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do we want to prove to you today, ladies and gentlemen? What we want is to do good for the greater, for society. We want that society lives safely, ladies and gentlemen. We want that every person in society can get out of their house, ladies and gentlemen, knowing that there is not, ladies and gentlemen, a criminal in that dark alley, knowing that they will not have, that those criminals have been suppressed, knowing that there is someone else out there trying to extricate these people. Now, what are the arguments that this side of the House proposes today? Firstly, we'll be justifying why this motion should be passed, not taken, sir. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be talking about the mechanism of the RAB officials and how this works. Tausibha will come up and he'll be talking about how the justice system does not prevail, and secondly, he'll be talking about how the whole ideology of human rights itself is contradicted. Now, going to the justification itself. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that these people are a threat to society, that the very existence of these people hold a threat to every single individual. What we see that these people have been committing crime after crime, hideous jobs, crimes against human rights. They have been violating human rights itself. They have been raping people. They have been killing people serially. They have been doing crimes of great proportions. They have been doing crimes which we cannot even think of, which they have been doing without any hint of remorse. We believe that this is crimes against the human race itself. We believe that these people feel no remorse, and therefore they feel no remorse before doing the same crime again and again. What we see is that they create a disruption in society itself, they create a fear factor in society itself, they create a problem in society. What we believe is that these serial killers, rapists, etc. pose a threat to society. We believe that this is in their nature and that they will be doing this over and over again. What we have to understand is that these crimes are to such a great extent, ladies and gentlemen, and that they cannot be forgiven, ladies and gentlemen, and the fact that they cannot be brought under proper jurisdiction. Why do we say that it cannot be brought under proper jurisdiction? Because at the end of the day,
Excuse me.
we see that these people have a great number of crimes in their names. We believe that the jurisdiction system of our country is very bureaucratic. It takes a very big process. We see that these people can stay away from the jurisdiction system. We see that they can postpone them. They can make them postpone for a certain while. They can run away from them for a certain period of time. We see that there are other methods by political influence and certain things that these people can stay away from them. What we believe is that it is not right to let these people walk around with their head held up high. We believe, ladies and gentlemen, that people have been taken, sir. We believe that people have been sacrificed before. Innocent people have been sacrificed once, ladies and gentlemen, or twice, ladies and gentlemen, for the greater good. For example, during the independence of our country itself, ladies and gentlemen, innocent people were sacrificed for the greater good. That is the idea that we want to establish today. That for the greater good, a little pure blood, ladies and gentlemen, has to be sacrificed. But what we will be further showing you that this sacrifice is not to a great. This sacrifice is worth it, ladies and gentlemen. That this sacrifice will make the whole process worth it. What do we see? We want to establish the fact. We want to establish the analogy of the greater good. That this is necessary for the people. We see that this violates the whole idea of the justice system itself. On the second layer, we see that it violates the ideology of the justice system itself. Because what we see that the concept of the justice system is to help provide justice for the people, is to give people the rights, is to give people security, ladies and gentlemen, is to make sure that people get their security, ladies and gentlemen, that these people are taken away from the streets. But at the end of the day, we see that these people are not removed from the streets. We see that these people cannot be removed, cannot be extricated. So we believe that another independent force, the RAB, has to come in and has to take some actions, because at the end of the day, someone has to walk into the game and take the greater step, and someone has to walk in and do something for the greater good. When we see that we are letting the justice system, we believe that the justice system's purpose, the whole purpose of protecting the people, is not being carried out if these people are not taken out. Because at the end of the day, due to reasons, as I have stated, due to reasons of postponing and influence, these people are not taken into proper jurisdiction. We believe that these people are still in the streets. We believe that these people still walk around. So the whole purpose of the justice system is not carried out. But when we are taking them out, when we are taking them out of the game, we believe that the whole system, the whole idea of the justice system is carried out. Secondly, the mechanism, our second argument, the mechanism of the RAB itself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how does the RAB work? Before that, we have to take a look at the activities. There are 4 main activities that the RAB actually does. Firstly is the anti-counter-terrorism. Secondly, they do work for anti-drugs. Thirdly, they help in emergencies. And fourthly itself, they work in national problems, ladies and gentlemen, and national health. Now, what do we see, ladies and gentlemen? How does RAB actually work? The RAB does not just come out on the street and just shoot a person who they think is wrong. The RAB, ladies and gentlemen, goes into the field and takes information, ladies and gentlemen. What we believe is that the RAB looks into it, ladies and gentlemen. They do not only do that. Before going after a person, they look into the person's criminal records. And based on that, ladies and gentlemen, they make a criminal profile for that very person. They follow the person for a great number of days, ladies and gentlemen. They do everything necessary to make sure that that person is involved in criminal activities. That person is involved or was involved in gross criminal records and is capable of doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. The RAB takes all perfect actions, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure that they are not taking any wrong actions. What have we seen, ladies and gentlemen? We have seen great examples of things that the Rapid Action Battalion has done, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen them recover 36,000 weapons, ladies and gentlemen. We have seen them done over 500 arrests this very year. We have seen them take out some infamous terrorists such as Baba himself. So we have seen, ladies and gentlemen, that the RAB is doing great work. But what we accept is that some misdoings do happen. In 400 or 500 arrests or crossfires, ladies and gentlemen, 1 or 2 or 5 or 10, ladies and gentlemen, innocent people are killed. But what is the percentage? This is about 2%, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, we see that this percentage of mishap is not very big. We believe, ladies and gentlemen, that we are questioning their existence, we are questioning their motives, ladies and gentlemen, and therefore we are questioning the very fact, the very establishment of the greater good itself. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to.
For 8 minutes and 22 seconds.
This house acknowledges the proposition speaker. I'd like to welcome the first speaker from team opposition.
Yeah.
We don't care. First thing I tried.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this house, Team Government has a goal. They want to give us a more prosperous and safer society. Ladies and gentlemen, for that to happen, from Team Opposition, we believe two things must happen. Firstly, we believe that the role of policing the laws and rule of judging the laws must be separate and disparate, ladies and gentlemen. We believe as long as these two powers are vested within one body, a body not elected by the people, a body without any accountability, we believe society can never be safe, society can never be prosperous. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to tell you 4 things about the case of Team Proposition. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, we must look at the nature of the criminals themselves. They have not defined what these criminals are. Are these criminals convicts or are these people just under allegations? You see, ladies and gentlemen, to determine this, we have to look at the nature of crossfires themselves. What happens in a crossfire? A fact never analyzed by Team Government. You see, in a crossfire, what happens is these people are under RAB custody. And while they're being transported to for further interrogation or to the court, ladies and gentlemen, what happens is that they claim that these criminals' friends came to bust him out, and at the end of the day, what they carry out is a summary execution. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at the very big problem in this, ladies and gentlemen. You see, we have no separate body other than the RAB who determines whether or not the severity of this criminal's acts is severe enough to determine death, ladies and gentlemen. We see at the end of the day, there is no accountability on the RAB or from going out and killing people with impunity if we do not bring them to punishment for their killing of their innocents. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, they believe that we have a disrupted society. We believe that society cannot function as not taken, sir, if there are criminals running about. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe equally society cannot be safe if we live in constant fear that we might be plucked off the streets and be killed by the RAB, ladies and gentlemen. Because at the end of the day, they have not given they have assumed that the RAB does its homework. Ladies and gentlemen, among the 754 people kidnapped between 2004 and 2009, majority of them were innocent. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we see that the net is too broad, that there can be no safety for society if the RAB goes around killing people with impunity. Therefore, if the RAB kills people, they are not actually serving societal benefit at the end of the day. To ensure that they do so, there needs to be accountability which makes them look behind their shoulders and make them pick their targets more carefully. Thirdly, they believe that the jurisdiction system does not work without giving us any reason or examples. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe if you do not let the judiciary system work, it will never work in the end of the day. You have to take these people to a court where the judges are elected by the people, where they will judge based on the people's standards of whether or not this person deserves death. Ladies and gentlemen, not people without any accountability. We believe that the judiciary system was good enough for taking down Bangla Bhai and his associates. We believe that it worked then, it shall work now. We just need to let it work at the end of the day. Even if it is not perfect, we do not suggest giving power of the judiciary to a bunch of policemen with no accountability. We believe that is inherently dangerous, as we shall be showing you in our constructive. The fourth thing that we want to show you is that the role of the RAB that they mentioned, their role is to enforce. Never was it, when they were created, to state that they were supposed to judge what these people were. Were they criminals or did they deserve death? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the inherent problem in this house today. That we cannot let these people take the law into their own hands and decide what the law is for themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, we have three main arguments in this house today. Firstly, I'm going to be showing you how this is essentially validation of their human rights abuses and how there needs to be a separation of the police and the judges. Secondly, I'm going to be showing you what the purpose of the RAB is and how if they have no accountability, their purpose can be hijacked by political interests at the end of the day. Thirdly, Tushar is going to be showing you how by giving them amnesty, we are creating a state of fear which disrupts society massively, therefore undermining the very thing that they want to propose in this house today. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our first argument regarding validation of human rights abuses. You see, ladies and gentlemen, in any well-functioning society, as I've already told you, there needs to be a separate police and a separate judge. Why is that so? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to ensure that the people who are carrying out the letter of the law are not deciding what the spirit of the law is. Because once you're enforcing the law, we believe essentially your vision is clouded, ladies and gentlemen. We need a separate body to determine whether or not the crimes that these people did were severe enough to go around and kill them on the first place. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we believe each and every person must have a right to free trial to defend themselves. You see, all the facts must be considered. When the RAB is taking them for a crossfire, are they considering all the facts of whether or not what this person does? Is he being given a right to defend himself to prove his evidence? No, he is not. Ladies and gentlemen, the RAB is acting as the judge in this case without any proper process, without any regard for evidence, ladies and gentlemen. We see at the end of the day, by merging the role of the enforcer and the judiciary, we are creating a system with no accountability. This gives the freedom for the RAB to go around killing whoever they want, ladies and gentlemen, to justify their own political means. Which brings me on to my second argument, the purpose of the RAB itself. Yes, sir, before I move on.
Sir, as we've explained already, if the RAB kills an innocent person, the law would take that into consideration and still punish him. So do you think he would do his homework before he actually does and shoots people?
You see, ladies and gentlemen, it is not the RAB's job to judge and take the law into his own hands. We have a separate system for that and we would like to keep it like that, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to the second argument about the purpose of the RAB. Once you have no accountability in the system, what happens? They can go out and kill people with impunity if you grant them amnesty. You see, if they can just come out and prove that this person had criminal records, they are essentially given amnesty. This gives them greater incentive to cover up whatever crossfire killings they had done as in a way as to prove that these people were at the end of the day guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, what your bill is doing is giving the RAB greater incentive to become less accountable, less transparent. Once you do that, what happens? You see, ever since the RAB has come into power, two governments have come into place, two different governments. And every time there was a different government, RAB's targeting policies changed at the end of the day, which essentially shows that RAB's targeting policies are based on the political interests of the ruling government. Why is that so? Because they know that they can use the RAB to their own interests because there is no accountability, there is no second checking system. Because once you have killed them, ladies and gentlemen, he cannot go to a trial and prove his innocent, prove that the RAB had done him wrong. What you're doing at the end of the day is taking the RAB's word as it is. There is no second checking mechanism to ensure whether or not these people were innocent at the end of the day. So once the RAB covers up their information, essentially they're free to do whatever they want. Once they're free to do whatever they want, and I remind you that the RAB is under the decree of the Home Ministry, you're leaving the system open to manipulation by the politicians. So ladies and gentlemen, what have we shown you in this house today? We've shown you that under your model, under this lack of accountability, what you're essentially doing is giving the power of the police and the judge and leaving it open to manipulation of the politicians. So at the end of the day, you're not serving society by making it safer, you're making it cloudier, you're making it murky, and a worse place to be. Therefore, we believe that their motion falls.
The speaker spoke for 8 minutes and 14 seconds.
Now the debate starts.
The real ones.
This is getting
To extend the proposition case, may I invite the second speaker from ADC.
Now, we believe that desperate times call for desperate needs. In this situation in Bangladesh, where we right now are currently the 140th out of 140th in living conditions because of the crime rate of the nation, we believe that concepts of justice which the opposition is trying to uphold automatically comes undermined because the safety of the people always comes first, which we've seen in history over and over again. We ask the opposition one question. Why exactly can we, the question remains that whether or not we can undermine these principles of justice for the greater good, for the sake of saving lives, for the sake of people's safety. Opposition tells us that we are violating justice. I will show to you why justice does not occur anyway. But more importantly, assuming that we're violating justice, at the end of the day, if we can save lives, then our motion clearly stands. The first, they bring up the idea of how the RAB will go around doing anything they want. We believe that will not happen because the check and balance already exists in society, where one injectment, that if that RAB kills an innocent person, then he is given a severe punishment, and because it's an issue right now, Speaker, he would not be let go all of a sudden injectment. Secondly, we see how media always manages to scrutinize RAB for any activity that they've done. We've seen the example of Limon, where despite the RAB, as they claim, being politically backed, the media did not even falter in bringing this person at the violations to life, Speaker. Which shows to us that right now in this today's age, with so much checks and balances, this form of independent action will not really happen. So having that was the main problem that Azraf had, Speaker. That they will do whatever they want. Now then they brought the idea of how their political backings. So this point will be better dealt in the constructives. But let's ask ourselves one question: who can politicians influence more? Is it the police, the jurisdiction, or is it the RAB, Speaker? That is one question we have to understand, and that's one reality in Bangladesh that we need to realize and inject in. Moreover, he tells us that, you know what, the RAB's policies changed based on the government system. One, we have seen no evidence that they've shown that this happened, so we simply deny this fact, Speaker. We believe that perhaps the nature of crime has changed in the last 4 years, which is why perhaps they've changed their targets. It has nothing to do with politics whatsoever. Speaker, I'll be telling you a very simple thing. That they talk about how accountability of these people are important. We showed you how they are to an extent accountable. But they tell us that they will shoot anyone and everyone they want. We've explained how the RAB are not monsters, how they always do a background check before they actually start firing people on the Speaker. Because if they fire the wrong people, there are major consequences on them in general. We believe that because of which, and we've seen time after time, that they've actually done a background check. For example, if there is a crime going on in Jamalpur, for example, Speaker, we believe that in that area, there will be people complaining about that particular criminal, and the RAB will keep count of what he has been doing and his recent activities in the last few months, Speaker. And that is how it targets the criminal, ladies and gentlemen. Then they tell us that, you know, people are kidnapped and they were innocent, Speaker. First, they haven't been proven to be innocent yet. There hasn't been court trials. Second of all, the idea that they were gooned out by the RAB is simply a conspiracy, and we cannot base our entire argument on conspiracy theories, Speaker. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to my constructive roundtable.
Sir, regardless of whether or not the criminal is convicted or not, the RAB doesn't have any judiciary power over them. They cannot be the judge, the person who judges the convict's fate.
First, tell me why they cannot have that judiciary power in this desperate situation. Because right now they don't act. These people go around raping more women, they go around killing more innocent people, they go around looting more homes. Why exactly is justice so important when the ultimate core of justice itself is to protect society? When you cannot protect society, why do we give a damn about your value of justice, Speaker? We simply do not understand the opposition is justified. Now let's move on to why justice does not prevail. Now first we have to understand the condition of Bangladesh. And we have to understand that these top-level criminals we're talking about are often politicians, and are often backed up by political parties and political leaders. And corruption is something which runs in the legal system itself, and this is the time after time. We see how, even though there are allegations against political leaders in judgment, they simply get away with it without even giving a damn, Speaker. Without that, like nothing, it doesn't really matter. Why exactly? Because they can simply buy out judges. They can simply buy out members of the police, Speaker. Because police, Speaker, at the end of the day, are more accountable towards the politicians in judgment, as we've seen time after time, which is why it's easier for them to get away with law and order. That is the actual condition of Bangladesh, and it's not the flower situation that Azraf here presents, where justice actually exists. we further believe that when you bring in the concept of a trial itself, a trial can always be halted, and that's exactly what happens. Because of bureaucratic problems, trials take 5 to 10 years or even longer than an speaker until something actually happens. And in that time, the death and the amount of hostilities that these people can cause is extremely large on the speaker. We believe, furthermore, that people forget about these issues by the time the trial is even made in judgment. We believe we cannot, one, give it so much time, and second, we just believe that politicians need to buy it out also. Finally, also, we have to understand that RAB is an independent organization which runs on its own. It is somewhat like the army of speaker. That is generally not influenced by political parties. The opposition could not give us any example whatsoever to show how the RAB was, in fact, at one point in time influenced by the political parties. We believe, furthermore, that because of the fact that let's consider that they might as well be influenced by a certain political party. The question is, what possibilities that they'll be more influenced by the law itself? Who will be more influenced by political parties? Is it the corrupt policemen or is it the RAB? Is it the corrupt judges or is it the RAB on the speaker? Now that, in Bangladesh, is definitely the policemen and the judges as we've seen time after time. So ultimately, the justice that you're talking about does not really stand. But furthermore, we believe that these values are simply morals and values on the speaker. In a situation where human rights are so, with such a crisis of human rights, in such a desperate situation, we believe we'll give more value to life than these values that you're talking about. Because ultimately, saving people's lives and providing people security is the ultimate value that we're trying to uphold here. And you cannot prioritize other vague values over the concept of saving people itself. Now let's talk about, ladies and gentlemen, the idea of how this is a human rights contradiction. We believe, Mr. Speaker, that right now they talk about how killing these RABs is killing these people actually is major human rights violations. But you have to understand the situation of Bangladesh itself. People do not have food to eat on this. People can never get proper justice. Poor people can never stand up in court and present their opinion on this. In such a situation, do you believe that this human right violation that you call it is actually even considered, our speaker? Or should we consider such minor human right violations in this country, our speaker? We believe not. The bigger human right violation is being conducted by these criminals themselves. And for that we condemn them. And for that we believe that they need to be put to light. They should be killed and judgment by the RAB. Where do we stand? We've shown to you, one, that justice does not prevail in Bangladesh. And there's a greater chance of politicians buying out these certain these judges and these policemen than the RAB on speaker, which definitely puts it in a high position. But we've shown to you even more that even though there are vague values of justice, we believe the ultimate value they're trying to uphold is saving lives themselves. Then we also showed you how there is also a check and balance present for the RAB, because if they do something wrong, at the end of the day they have to answer to the court nevertheless. So they would do their homework, Mr. Speaker, and at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, we believe the motion stands.
The speaker spoke for 8 minutes and 6 seconds.
Speakers are very important in your
Would like to call upon the second speaker from Team Opposition.
Why did the little toffee move away?
Ladies and gentlemen, there are several things that have to be cleared out in this house today. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to provide some rebuttals to this house. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, they've told us that, you know what, at the end of the day there is a check and balance system in place, that at the end of the day RAB does its homework before killing someone at the end of the day, and therefore it justifies the fact that, you know what, that at the end of the day that they are killing convicts and not innocent people. Now understand this, ladies and gentlemen. Before, what is the purpose of RAB itself, ladies and gentlemen? RAB is supposed to catch these criminals and take them to a court of law, where the fate of these criminals is decided by the court of law, and then the fate is then executed by RAB itself. Now this intermediate duty is being taken on by RAB itself, and we believe that that is not justified. RAB has the mandate to actually catch these criminals and then execute them under direction of the judges, ladies and gentlemen. They cannot do so themselves, regardless of whatever the time is, ladies and gentlemen, desperate or otherwise. Because we understand that the sustenance of a legal system is required, regardless of what the times are. Because who do the people go to for justice, ladies and gentlemen? Not the RAB itself, ladies and gentlemen, but the judiciary system, and we believe that its existence is validated and is even required. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, they have told us that the policy changes of RAB is not exactly politics affiliated, but completely random, ladies and gentlemen. But understand this, ladies and gentlemen, every time there was a policy change, it was every time a new parliament came into power, ladies and gentlemen. See, we have to question the integrity of this, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it? It is too similar to just plainly call it a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, there is a reason why every time a new power came into the house, they felt a need to actually change their policies. It is because they were politically affiliated in the first place. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, we understand that they are under the power of the Home Ministry, and therefore they have the potential to be used as political weapons. As a result, whatever they're doing can never be justified, because we have to understand that they're not in the interest of the people, but in the interest of politicians, ladies and gentlemen. And since it is the social benefit that they're looking for, we believe at the end of the day, praising political interest and overlooking social interest is not appreciated. Thirdly, ladies and gentlemen, they've told us that there is a rights clash. At the end of the day, it is rightful, it is actually justified to kill these convicts because they have taken away the rights of several others, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore we have the right to take their lives. Now understand this, ladies and gentlemen. We have to understand this. We do not have the right to, of course, see, there are several rights involved, ladies and gentlemen. No, sir. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, this person has taken the rights of some other people, ladies and gentlemen. But understand this, even these people have the right to a fair and free trial, ladies and gentlemen. Even this person has the right to plead not guilty, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, we're overlooking these rights. And if it's a clash between rights, ladies and gentlemen, we still believe that even if the rights of some are dominant over the rights of the others, ladies and gentlemen, it still does not give RAB the right to actually call on the fate of these people, because they do not have the mandate of the people, ladies and gentlemen. The judges do, ladies and gentlemen, have the mandate of the people, so therefore it is logical, even accepted whatever decisions that they make. And finally, no, sir. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, they've told us that the current judiciary system is incapable of handling all these scenarios, because at the end of the day, there is too much corruption, ladies and gentlemen, there is too much bureaucracy involved, and it takes too much time to actually provide justice. Understand this, ladies and gentlemen, the success of our judiciary system has already been proven when Bangladesh came into under justice, ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, ladies and gentlemen, they've told us that and on the check and balance system, they've told us that the media will be there to actually flag post the wrongdoing of RAB, ladies and gentlemen. Now we say that if the media is strong enough to flag post the wrongdoings of RAB, the media should be strong enough to flag post the wrongdoings of the judiciary system at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're telling us that even under your model, the judiciary system will still be corrupt, then we'll have to question the credibility of media at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So even under your model, ladies and gentlemen, your policy falls. With all this rebuttals in the hostility, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to move on to my constructives and what the opposition has to say. But before that, go ahead.
Sir, when a dictator is killed without trial, people do not have a problem with it, and the killers of Gaddafi were forgiven. Do you believe that the same analogy can apply here when justice does not stand for a greater good?
Oh, brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, whether or not justice depends on the greater good cannot be judged by RAB at the end of the decision. See, we have to understand what the proposition is trying to achieve today. The proposition's main aim is to achieve social benefit, ladies and gentlemen, social security, ladies and gentlemen, and they believe that at the end of the day, since RAB, by killing off the social threats, is actually at the end of the day enhancing social security. Now, the opposition side will have to just prove to you otherwise. Now, understand this, ladies and gentlemen, what is the fundamental difference between the judiciary system, or RAB, ladies and gentlemen, and the serial killers and the murderers and the convicts, ladies and gentlemen. The convicts do not have any respect for the laws and order of the state, ladies and gentlemen. The convicts do not have any rules or regulations that they follow, ladies and gentlemen, and therefore they go against society, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's look at what role the Rapid Action Battalion has taken to form, ladies and gentlemen. They have become an organization who disregard the current laws of the country, ladies and gentlemen. They have become an organization who disregard the human rights of the convicts, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, who are not proven guilty at all, ladies and gentlemen, who are still not guilty under the Constitution of Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, they have also spread a lot of fear among the people of Bangladesh, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, what fundamental difference is there between these convicts and RAB, ladies and gentlemen? They spread fear among the people by threatening them, and even RAB is spreading fear among the people by threatening them. Now understand this, ladies and gentlemen. We have to understand that ever since the inception of rap, not one rap official was ever convicted of killing an innocent person. We obviously understand that there is something going on, ladies and gentlemen. There are political affiliations which protect them, ladies and gentlemen, and we understand that giving them amnesty further benefits their cause and not the cause of the people, ladies and gentlemen. We also have to understand that, you know what, at the end of the day, fear is actually proving, ladies and gentlemen. See, every time we go to rap, ladies and gentlemen, we understand that they can even be politically motivated to actually address the agenda of political vendetta, ladies and gentlemen. Because they have political backers, ladies and gentlemen, because they're under the power of the Home Ministry and not under an independent body like the military, ladies and gentlemen. So every time there is a power change, ladies and gentlemen, we see there is a policy change, and we see that the responsibility, the role that the rap takes on changes. Now understand this, ladies and gentlemen. Society has started fearing rap, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we might agree that initially rap was doing extrajudicial killings, ladies and gentlemen, which may or may not have been justified at the end of the day. But now, ladies and gentlemen, in the present scenario, rap has taken on the role of a criminal itself, ladies and gentlemen, who has no regard for life, ladies and gentlemen. Now understand this. What sort of, what would you say, what would you have to say to an organization who disregards human rights, ladies and gentlemen? What would you say to an organization who would not take you to a fair trial? What would you say to an organization who you know that once they take you in, will eventually write you off as dead, ladies and gentlemen, even before you end up in the court of law, and even before you can plead guilty, ladies and gentlemen? We understand that rap has taken on, there is a massive fear among the people, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we see that this fear is further compounded, and on a second layer, we understand that this fear is further compounded by the fact that the very government who is supposed to provide you with security at the end of the day doesn't condemn this for the fact, but actually incentivizes them by actually providing them with amnesty, ladies and gentlemen. See, we are actually, from fear from the organization of rap, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone over to the fear of the government, ladies and gentlemen, which does nothing to stop these illegal activities that the rap is actually doing, extrajudicial killings that the rap is doing, ladies and gentlemen. So from fear of organization, we have the greater fear of the government, ladies and gentlemen, and we believe that at the end of the day, the social interest is not being upheld. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what has the opposition tried to tell you to this house today? We have told you that under no time at all whatsoever can rap ever take on the role of the judge itself, ladies and gentlemen. We understand there is a need for the difference between the judge and the punisher, because once the punisher himself gets to decide, himself becomes the judge of himself, he can decide what is right and what is wrong for himself, ladies and gentlemen. There will be no one to punish him once he does so. And that is in essence what rap has become, ladies and gentlemen. We've told you that under no circumstances whatsoever this is possible. We've told you that there is massive social unrest because the minute rap targets you, ladies and gentlemen, it is taken for granted that it will be taken down in the crossfire. And that fear is compounded and grown with the fact that, you know what, since the government doesn't even protect me, ladies and gentlemen, society has come to lose confidence in the government, society has come to lose confidence in its state, ladies and gentlemen, and even the laws it provides. Thank you.
The speaker spoke for 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
I told him to go and ask him for other things.
I will request the audience to keep their cell phone on silent mode, since it disrupts the flow of this particular parliament. Exactly, you need to put that in the silent mode, please. With that, I'd like to call upon the last speaker from Team Proposition Team, the constructive round from the proposition side.
Yeah, we see it
Mother Teresa can walk. Mother Teresa can walk. She lives. Mother Teresa walks with a cold. Moderate. What's a moderate?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the time to speak. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition side failed to show us that why exactly our model, why exactly granting amnesty to these RAB officials actually creates a harm in the society, actually violates the entire concept of justice itself. They have failed to give us enough logic based on the premise of their arguments that this granting amnesty to these RAB officials is actually creating a tangible harm to the society, is actually distorting the entire concept of justice itself. Now, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this entire debate, we found two major bones of contention. Let's take them one by one. Firstly, whether or not justice prevails in the country, in the society, and secondly, justice versus security. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the first clash, whether or not justice prevails in the society. Ladies and gentlemen, the opposition side told us that, you know what, there is a high chance that these RAB officials can be easily bribed by the government, can be easily corrupted by the political parties, and can be easily influenced by these parties, so that they take actions based on favoring their own parties. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that comparing the amount of influence that can be actually exerted over the RAB, we believe that there is a still greater probability of influencing judges, buying out judges, and influencing the police, which is in direct affiliation with the government, rather than influencing the RAB, which is an independent body, as time and again our speakers have shown to this House. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to show you, they also tried to show us that the RAB is an organization which is politically biased. They could not give us any proof or any instance whatsoever as to where this bias, this prejudice has actually occurred in Bangladesh, where these RAB individuals have actually created a biasment towards the government or towards a particular political party. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that targets change, and we believe that the RAB's targets have changed since the time of its inception, and we believe that the RAB has recently shown itself to be more effective in regulating crime and in regulating social crimes in the Bangladeshi society. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to show the example of Bangla Bhai, which our side gave to you. Now, the entire concept, the entire situation of bringing Bangla Bhai to justice was possible because of the contribution of the RAB, because the RAB had a contribution there in the first place. Not taken, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that therefore the only reason Bangla Bhai could be caught was because RAB was effective, was because RAB could actually carry out its duty properly and could actually catch Bangla Bhai. Now, ladies and gentlemen, not taken, sir. People, after committing crime, there has been many instances where people get away from actually facing the punishment. This is because there are certain problems associated with the entire procedure of trial itself. We believe that there are loopholes in the Bangladeshi law and order system, for which reason it has been easy for many of the criminals to get away, to avoid, and to run away from law and punishment. Ladies and gentlemen, when they came up and tried to tell us that, you know what, we should give these people the chance of a fair trial. We should give these people, not taken, sir, we should give these criminals a chance to be tried in court. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the Bangladeshi context, we have seen that trials can take a long time. A long time as in it can range from 1 year to 2 to 5 years in the Bangladeshi context. We believe that because of bureaucracy which is associated with these trials, and due to the high amount of corruption that we see in the law and order system, that we see has infiltrated into our law and order system, we believe that these trials do not actually serve their purpose at the end of the day, and we believe that it is perfectly justified for us to give these RAB officials the right to kill, the right to crossfire on any suspect on whom they have sufficient information. Now, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the second clash, whether or not justice versus security. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our side came and showed to you how the RAB works through a process of check and balance, and how the entire mechanism of RAB is is actually based on information. Is actually based on information that they gather over a period of time of certain criminals, of certain serial killers, of certain criminals like rapists and other first-degree criminals. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe that at this point of time, when justice cannot be brought, when trials can be manipulated, when justice cannot be brought by trials themselves, we believe that these rap officials who have the information, who have gone through an investigative procedure to actually accuse these persons as criminals in the first place, we believe that it is perfectly justified for the RAB to actually take the action of crossfire and to actually kill these people, for which reason the amnesty should be given to these RAB. Now, ladies and gentlemen,
sir,
not taken, sir. They also brought, the team opposition also tried to bring the point once again that people do have that fundamental right to trial. People do have the right to be tried in court. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that this is not a question. This is something which crosses our normal context. We believe that we have to compare here net rights. We believe that these criminals, yes, we do concede to the fact that even though they do have the right to be tried in court, what happens is that the majority of the society has the right to be kept safe, has the right to be kept secured by the government, and if at the end of the day we fail to keep the people of the country safe, then there is no point of justice being there in the first place. But ladies and gentlemen, we believe, now moving on to show how media cannot actually distort the image of rap according to what they want. Now, at this point of time, it has become really hard and really difficult job for the media to actually distort the image of the rap, or to actually distort the image of the rap because of certain information which is available in the society, because of certain facts. Because of certain factors which actually cannot be denied in front of the society. On the last layer, they also have told us that fear is instilled among people, among the general people in the society. Among whom is fear actually instilled? We believe that fear is instilled among the convicts, and which is actually a good thing at the end of the day, because if fear is not instilled among the convicts, what is the point of the RAB being there? What is the point of the police and other law enforcement being there? If fear is instilled in the convicts, that is a good thing for the society, and normal people actually feel safe when fear is there created among the criminals. Normal people actually feel secured, and the entire purpose of RAB serves its primary purpose, as we have seen that the crime rate in Bangladesh has gone down to a certain level due to this RAB. Now, ladies and gentlemen, throughout this entire debate, our side showed to you how it is justified that amnesty should actually be granted to these RAB officials, and we have also shown you the logical grounds. Therefore, we believe that academia should win this debate.
The speaker spoke for 8 minutes and 15 seconds.
Now I am paying attention now.
During the constructive round of this grand final, I would like to call up the last speaker from team opposition.
Yeah, Rakin, my roommate.
So, ladies and gentlemen, directly moving on to the three main questions that remain at the end of this debate. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, what is the purpose of RAB in the first place? Now, analyzing this question, ladies and gentlemen, as has been continuously analyzed in this house today, the main purpose of RAB has been to capture criminals who are then going to be judged in a court of law. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest analysis that this side of the house has provided to us is the fact that times are desperate. In such desperate times, RAB needs to act as both the judiciary and the executive, ladies and gentlemen. We believe not so, ladies and gentlemen. Why do we believe that? Now, what you must understand, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that even if the times are desperate, we cannot let the same body control the functions of both the executive and the judiciary.
In fact, it is more imperative that at desperate times, these two roles must be kept separate to ensure stability, to ensure a proper mechanism to take place, to ensure proper trials to take place at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Furthermore, what you're essentially allowing is the very body to judge its own decisions. No, sir. You're allowing the very body, RAB itself, to judge its own decisions. There is no check and balance on that at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. This side of the house has ignored our constructives about the severity of the RAB's actions, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, how the severity of RAB's actions undermines any greater good, any utopian greater good that this side of the house may wish to achieve, ladies and gentlemen. On top of this, what this side of the house has proven to us in this house today is simply the fact, no sir, is simply the fact that there is no common difference between RABs and criminals in the first place. Criminals go up there and kill a person without a trial. RAB goes up there and is killing a person without a trial based on allegations, ladies and gentlemen, something which they have not been able to prove, something which they have not been able to prove as a convict. All they had to say to this is the fact that RAB had done their homework previously, ladies and gentlemen. Now, who ensures that the RAB at the end of the day was correct, ladies and gentlemen? Who ensures that at the end of the day, political affiliations did not have any impact on the decisions taken by RAB? No, sir. Hence, we believe that the judgment of RAB at the end of the day on that very point can be biased and hence needs to be addressed. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the duty of the RAB is not to judge people. It is the duty of the RAB is to carry out actions which at the end of the day is to carry out actions, ladies and gentlemen, which will at the end of the influence at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, whether the person is guilty or not. It is not the duty of the RAB to judge people at the end of the day. This is what is happening in the current status quo. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, even at desperate times, you cannot let RAB carry out the functions of two different groups. Now moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to my second clash. No sir, is the right to a free and fair trial superseded by the utopian greater good that this side of the house wants to achieve? Now ladies and gentlemen, what this side of the house has continuously barged on us is this. The fact that RAB at the end of the day has checks and balances, ladies and gentlemen. They take their own check and balance systems. Now first question, ladies and gentlemen, who determines that the information collected by RAB was good enough, was substantial enough to let these people to die, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking about the value of a human life, ladies and gentlemen. That is a value which supersedes all other possible sources of information that could have proven correct, ladies and gentlemen. We are not ensured, we are not guaranteed that this person was guilty in the first place. Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, we have talked to you, now this house has also gave to us the analogy of how the fear of the convict itself supersedes the fear of RAB. However, ladies and gentlemen, on the very first place, they haven't proven these people to be convicts in the first place because of no check and balance on RAB, ladies and gentlemen. As long as these people have not been proven guilty on a further level, ladies and gentlemen, what we believe that is that they are part of the greater society. So they have every right to a free and fair trial, being a part of the greater society, ladies and gentlemen. That right to trial supersedes any utopian greater good that they will not achieve at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Because once these people do not get that free and fair trial, we cannot justify that we cannot justify that their actions were initially wrong in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. The right to trial must exist. Now, in opposing to this, what this side of the house has continuously given to us in this house today is this, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that trials take a long time. Because the fact that trials take a long time, at the end of the day, cannot come to a proper decision as to whether the trials are correct or not. However, ladies and gentlemen, as has been proven to you by my first and second speakers, these trials take a long time. No, sir. These trials at the end of the day take a long time because these trials are cases of high-profile cases, ladies and gentlemen. RAB is the body which undertakes high-profile cases, and because these trials are high-profile cases, it is perfectly justified for these trials to take enough time, ladies and gentlemen. Enough time before a proper decision is being made. Enough time before a decision is to make as to whether a person dies or not. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the value of human life, how it supersedes any other moral principles that this side of the house wish to establish in this house today. Now, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to my third and final clash. Do political affiliations have a greater impact on the actions of RAB or on the actions of judiciary, ladies and gentlemen? Now, what we must understand in this house today is the fact that political affiliations on RAB has clouded its decision making, ladies and gentlemen. Over the past status quo, what we have seen is over the past 8 years, since the establishment of RAB in 2004, we have seen 2 governmental changes, and these governmental changes have significantly changed the way RAB performs at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. The RAB at the end of the day used to perform a different way during the time of BNP and now performs in a different way during the time of Awami League, ladies and gentlemen. That is too coincidental, ladies and gentlemen. That is merely because of the fact that is because of the fact that governmental changes has taken place, hence resulting in changes in the operating policies, ladies and gentlemen. The very inception of RAB was during a time of an operation, ladies and gentlemen, an operation Clean Heart, where these people deemed to be terrorists, where these people had resulted in numerous murders, ladies and gentlemen, and these murderers at the end of the day were not questioned and rather brought up to form the elite force RAB, ladies and gentlemen. That is wrong on the very principal level, ladies and gentlemen. Furthermore, what we see at the end of the day is the fact that when political affiliations have an impact on RAB, what this will result is the death of a person under a crossfire under their bill. No sir, this is very important, listen to this. What political affiliations do upon the judiciary at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they give a person a right to a trial, a right to appeal, ladies and gentlemen. When you put political affiliations affect RAB's decisions, what you're essentially allowing is the life. What you're essentially putting at stake here is the life and death of a person. However, even if we agree to their point of the judiciary system being allegedly corrupt, being allegedly having political affiliations, ladies and gentlemen, even if we concede to that fact, we believe that the impact of such a political affiliation is not so great, simply because of the fact that the person has a right to a trial, the person has a right to appeal if he is not proven guilty, ladies and gentlemen. That right to trial, that right to appeal does not go under their model where they suggest that RAB acting as the judiciary having political affiliations will at the end of the day result in the death of a person. Hence, ladies and gentlemen, what is at the end of the day proven here is the fact that judiciary, however influenced they are, even if you consider that fact, the impact of this influence at the end of the day is not as magnanimous, as bad as the influence of as the political influence on the RAB, ladies and gentlemen. Hence, at the end of the day, we have a debate where this side of the house has clearly failed to analyze the grounds on which RAB should be given amnesty, ladies and gentlemen, because this side of the house has failed to characterize between the RAB and the criminals on the first place, because the operating policies that they suggest RAB should perform and the operating policies of criminals coincide, ladies and gentlemen, are the same. And at the end of the day, we believe that we should show some. At the end of the day, we believe that the right to a free and fair trial and the importance of a human life supersedes any utopian good they wish to achieve, which they will never achieve.
The speaker spoke for 8 minutes and 22 seconds.
This has acknowledged the last speaker of the constructive round. We'll have a 1 minute break before we start the reply round.
Or 16, 8 minutes. Oh God. It might take another. No, check call again. It might take a little longer. Probably. I brought the school bus would drop me.
Especially when you are the brother of the big guy. He might have, but he has everything which no other guy.
I'll bring souvenirs. No, seriously, that cools her nerves. Seriously. I'm not a foreigner, I need you
I had
Have it in you, don't you? Wanna ke bathroom dekhe na.
Not my car.
That break proved to be very effective for us.
Yes.
With that, I'd like to give the floor to the first reply speaker from Team Opposition.
Discrimination. So we will not go into I'm talking about the you know what?
No. Keep it. আমি guarantee us to video.
No peak video.
Here.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a walk through the debate and find out exactly what it was that had gone down in the House today. Ladies and gentlemen, from this proposition side of the House today, they've told us that, you know what, RAB has taken on the role of the judge, RAB has taken on the role of the executioner, and we believe that since it's a desperate time, and since RAB is actually killing convicts, it is justified. And ladies and gentlemen, under their model, let's see exactly what has happened. Let's see what exactly has happened. Yes, RAB has taken the role of the judge. Yes, RAB has taken the role of the executioner. But ever since its inception in 2004, ladies and gentlemen, there has been over 750 killings, ladies and gentlemen, extrajudiciary killings which they have termed crossfires, ladies and gentlemen. Now understand this, ladies and gentlemen, a vast majority of this are considered killings of people who were convicted non-guilty, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, so they were not convicts, these were actually innocent people. So a vast majority of the people that have killed were not exactly convicts, ladies and gentlemen, but actually innocent people, ladies and gentlemen. Even then, ladies and gentlemen, not one RAB official got convicted. So even under their scenario, ladies and gentlemen, what we see is that RAB has actually exploited their role as both the judge and the executioner, ladies and gentlemen, by saving themselves, even though they kill innocent people, and actually killing innocent people itself, ladies and gentlemen. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, we must question, why did they kill so many people, ladies and gentlemen? Not just because they don't just go on Sunday walks and kill left and right, ladies and gentlemen. They will actually take down targeted individuals, ladies and gentlemen. See, since we understand that so many of these killings were innocent, we have to also assume that, you know what, these were probably political affiliations, ladies and gentlemen, and political targets that the RAB had taken on, ladies and gentlemen. And not exactly criminals or druggers, or ladies and gentlemen, the very nature of criminals that the RAB is supposed to catch in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore, even their activities are questionable, and we want an accountability to exist, ladies and gentlemen, because we have to ask the RAB when it is going off the road, ladies and gentlemen, when it is not fulfilling its purpose. So as a result, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that even as the role as a judge and executioner, it is exploited, ladies and gentlemen, and not used for the greater good, not used it for the greater good. Second question that we have to ask ourselves is this, ladies and gentlemen. Whose right supersedes what, ladies and gentlemen? Now they've told us that, you know what, the RAB has the right to actually take out these convicts because they have actually consumed the rights of several others in the society, ladies and gentlemen. Now understand this, ladies and gentlemen, from the very first speaker, it was unclear whether or not these convicts were actually convicted or whether or not they were allegations, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the way RAB works is this, ladies and gentlemen. They capture prisoners, they take them to the judiciary, and ladies and gentlemen, or take them away from interrogations, and when they're actually transporting them, ladies and gentlemen, it is at these times that crossfires take place and these people die, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they are never actually convicted criminals at the end of the day. But at the time of the crossfires, they are actually still a part of society, ladies and gentlemen, a civilian, ladies and gentlemen, and has as much right as any other civilian in the economy, ladies and gentlemen, in the government, under the government, ladies and gentlemen. So these criminals have the constitutional rights, ladies and gentlemen, that the RAB doesn't actually respect, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day. So therefore, what RAB is doing is actually going against societal rights, ladies and gentlemen, rights that every civilian has at the end of the day, because these were just alleged personals, not convicts at the end of the day. For the final question that we must ask is their final aim, that is achieving societal benefit, actually achieved at the end of the day? Now, how is societal benefit at the end of the day ensured? Through the enhancement of social security, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we have to ask ourselves, has RAP taken on that role and actually fulfilled it, ladies and gentlemen? They've told us that, you know what, the current system is way too political, the current system is way too corrupted, it takes way too much time, but we tell you, ladies and gentlemen, give the current judicial system a chance because it has proven that it can work in certain scenarios, ladies and gentlemen. We tell you that the time is required because these cases are high-profile cases and not simple matters, ladies and gentlemen. We've told you that, you know what, at the end of the day, RAP has taken up the form of death squads, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever they take into account, custody, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, they kill, ladies and gentlemen. And not often without reason, ladies and gentlemen. Or often with reasons that are hidden, ladies and gentlemen. So we can only assume these are political reasons, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, we see not an enhancement in social security, but a degradation in social security, ladies and gentlemen, because even society cannot no longer keep their faith in RAP, ladies and gentlemen, or faith in the government, which actually doesn't condemn this RAP at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen. So we see a segregation of the societal faith from RAP and the government, ladies and gentlemen, which we believe is the worst scenario of all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I can see Mars.
The speaker spoke for 4 minutes and 16 seconds.
Mars.
May I request the reply speaker from Team Proposition to
Bring it home, boy, bring it home.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly our brother's keepers and the finder of lost truth. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who try to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon you. Ladies and gentlemen, practically I have nothing much to do here, since the proposition has already proven its point. Right? Now let's look into the debate. First of all, the primary question the opposition had to answer to us is which scenario brings in a better and more stable society. Right? Because the only reason they've given to us so far as to why there has been segregation between law and execution on speaker is the creation of a stable society. While we've constantly shown to you that a stable society is essentially created when you have these law violators away from society, when you have a cleaner street, when you have greater human rights. That's one on speaker. They had no justification to why such values of justice is so important right now. Ultimately, if the reason is social stability arises with the RAP in there. And I've also shown to you, and my first speaker and my third speaker has shown to you how the RAP has actually gone on to decreasing crime rates in Bangladesh. How they've had over 500 arrests, how they've had over 36,000 confiscation of illegal weapons. Why do you deny them why do you deny that they would not be able to improve society even further? We question the opposition that, no answer from their side. But we've further shown to you that such values of justice are vague. Because ultimately the biggest moral of them all is the purpose of security, is the purpose of saving life. They haven't denied that this will eventually lead to security, that this will eventually lead to saving of innocent lives. Ultimately, if it's a question of rights, on one hand, we have the right to security and safety of hundreds. On the other, we have the right to plea of one. Now you do the math, Honourable Speaker. We believe that in this situation, we would prioritize the right of these 100 people. And we prioritize the right of these people over the right of that one person, to make a plea litigation. Because at the end of the day, that's how we make decisions. That's how we make judgments, Honourable Speaker, on what brings about the maximum human rights. Then let's talk about human rights a little bit more, right? Talk about how this is a violation of human rights and how this is a negative image on us. That doesn't apply in Bangladesh here. Because right now, we have no human rights control in Bangladesh because of these criminals. People cannot be safe outside of their homes in general. We believe the condition has certainly improved, but we believe the problem still exists. In this situation, you can't brag about these human rights conditions. That's not important enough, Honourable Speaker. At the end of the day, the human right of that one criminal is not as important as many others. So ultimately, we've proven you the principle. Now let's get down to the practicalities, right? The first question asked us is whether justice prevails. We've shown you time after time that the Bangla example alone cannot really prove how trials occur. Because they tell us trials are halted because of their high profile. We believe, one, no, it's because trials are halted because of bureaucracy. Secondly, assuming their high profile, that criminal, if he is a threat, will keep terrorizing society in that time. I was speaking of 15 years of justice. We cannot do that. Then they question us that they tell us that RAB is actually affiliated with governments. Now the only reason why they're giving us this on speaker is that, when the government changes, the policy of the RAB changes. Once, we haven't seen any examples. Second of all, it's 4 to 8 years, 4 years until the government changes. Targets may as well change for other reasons. It doesn't have to be political. We have to show us why this is exactly a political reason. So we don't buy their judgment on it. Last time for us, we showed you the RAB is an independent organization and they have a check and balance, because otherwise, they would actually be sued in court, they would be punished. And there's also media, which will play an active role in dealing with threat. Ultimately, the motion does.
So that brings us to the end of Bangladesh Schools Debating Championship 2012's Grand Final. I request the finalists to cross the floor, shake hands, and wait for the results. And meantime, thank you for the informative audience and their supports, and we get done with our awesome panelists that I have. With that,